You're listening to the Chartographers.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third season of the Chartographers. It is a music-loving podcast for music-loving people where we take every single album by a particular artist and we rank it from worst to first. It's totally the thing that we do. It's always been our catchphrase. Make no mistake. That's absolutely what it's always been. Check the records. So guys, listen, see, I feel like after the first two seasons of the Chartographers, me and Taran, we were able to, I feel like we had to establish ourselves. So we tackled the greats. We tackled everything from the Beatles to the Michael Jacksons to, our own personal stuff like Robin and, Flaming Lips and things. But now it's to the point where, after conquering a lot of that, we're just going into the random. We're going...
what other people think is the best.
Exactly. Yeah. We did Steely Dan for a season premiere, and thank you all who listened to that. And now, we're doing an artist who, on the surface, it seems like, this seems pretty easy. Nuh-uh. Not the case. And in fact, the guest that we had in studio previously said on an episode, this is more of a singles artist than an albums artist, but we're the Chartographers. We do everything. We get the whole picture. So diving into the albums has been a fascinating experience because this week, oh baby, we decided to tackle...
I'm your baby tonight.
Arguably the greatest pop vocalist of the modern era. I think I can say that.
Of all time?
Yeah, great.
Oh, this is going so well already.
So that's right, guys. We're going to dive into it. We're talking about the one, the only, an artist whose career peak was probably in the year 2000 when they were nominated for Favorite Song from a Film at the Blockbuster Entertainment Awards. That's right, guys. We're talking about Whitney Houston.
Sorry, I had to jump in there.
The preacher's wife, if you're holy. Nippy. Nippy, if you're Robin. My meal ticket if you're Bobby Brown. So guys, listen.
Wait, what did you say? He said my meal ticket if you're Bobby Brown.
So Whitney Houston was born
I'm sorry.
in New Jersey, daughter of Sissy Houston, who was actually an established gospel vocalist, and like a lot of great soul singers of the day, started out by singing in church, is what she did. And of course, her mom, Sissy, of course, encouraged that, but also Whitney had a dynamite voice. And ultimately, at the age of 16, she was found at the label showcased by Clive Davis, who is kind of a record impresario. He's like, you're amazing, you're going to be a superstar, I'm going to make you a superstar, signed her to a worldwide contract, kind of kept her on rap for a couple years, developed her talent. That's the thing that he does. He did it with another one of his famous signees, Alicia Keys. Several years later, signed her and kept her on reps for years. I'm going to make you a superstar, we'll build you up. And eventually, when Whitney Houston debuted, it was kind of a quiet debut at first, but once the single started hitting, she had an unbroken streak of 7 number ones on the Hot 100, which, beat the fucking Beatles.
I mean, the thing about, when you read about her late 80s output, she was just, knocking down records like it was her job. She broke dozens of records and within her first 2 albums.
Yeah, the number one record has still not been broken. The record was
consecutive number ones. Yeah. Which is crazy. And we are going to get into that and her albums because that's what we do. We're going to rank them all and it's going to be great. Who's the we that are ranking it? Let me tell you. First off, there's me. I'm Evan Sadi. You might know me as the interviews editor over at Pop Matters. You may have seen my writings in MSN and other places. But most importantly, I hope you recognize me in the streets as the host of this podcast. Because
we've posted photos of ourselves.
Yeah. Shh. But mainly because I love this podcast so dearly. I love that we're doing a third season. And part of the reason that I'm so excited about this is because we also have the person sitting next to me right now. That's right. The Rachel to my Frank Farmer. That's right, guys.
That's what you're going with?
The co-creator of the podcast. Taran O'Reilly!
Thank you.
How are you doing, baby?
I'm fantastic. I had a really weird journey this week. I'll just say my thoughts have been all over the place, and then every time I go back, it completely changes. So, and then we watched like the documentary on her life yesterday, and
Can I Be Me, the Showtime documentary?
100% changed everything I thought about every record. So
Wow.
that's, like, I'm really excited to talk about this, and like honestly, I wish that I had given this. On the one hand, there's a lot of schlock here. So I'm kind of sick of Whitney Houston.
Which
but
is fair.
On the other hand, I kind of wish that I had like 4 more days with this. Because because my opinions have changed so much, like literally every day.
Yes.
I'm ready to talk about this. I definitely have some ideas of like front runners and what's going to be last, but like
We're going to get into
I'll
it.
also say that I'm probably not going to fight Nick Shoda as hard as I did on Janet. Because like it's just anyway. We'll move on for now. We'll
get back to it. Because here's the thing: I cannot tell you how excited I am to have our guests back. Our guest.
I already spoiled it.
I know. So I'll turn it to a bleep in post. I won't. But the thing is that this guest that we have here, he's not even just a guest. He's been on 2 different episodes before, so he's on the echelon of Chartographers All-Stars!
Oh my god!
So, and by the way, when you guys are tweeting about this podcast, it's the 3rd season, so please use the hashtag All-Stars3. I'm pretty sure that won't be confused with any other hashtag. I'm pretty sure that joke will totally be relevant in the months and years from now you listen to this. All-Stars3 hashtag. But most importantly, here's how good this guest is. This guest was on our first fucking episode when we talked about Beyonce. This guest was on one of our favorite episodes we ever did, when we did Janet Jackson.
I think maybe still my favorite episode.
Yeah, like...
Because, like, my love of Janet has, like, kind of changed my life a little, but it's fine.
And on top of it, because of what he did in the Janet episode, he was nominated for 3 Charty Awards.
Yeah.
And, you know, well deserved. If you have not listened to the Chartographers Awards, please do. It's fucking amazing. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, Nick Shoda is in studio! Nick!
Hi, guys.
How you doing?
Oh, well, my heart is first and foremost very warmed.
Okay.
I'm so delighted to be back. So, I am the first 3-timer.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Honey.
Oh, damn. Okay, shit. Here I was thinking, like, it's cool. I like the first 3 times. No.
We've had our dear friend John Harvey, I think, has been on 6 times.
Or
something
shit.
like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's
That's
been
no joke.
No one else has been on more
than him.
Well, more than him, but, like, do we have that many other 3-timers?
JC. Just
JC.
last episode.
Right.
I think
that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you know,
well,
you're still in rare company.
Yeah.
In any event, I'm delighted to be here.
And not to get too self-indulgent, but way back in the Janet episode, at one point, Nick's like, hey, by the way, do you guys ever want to do a Whitney episode? And Taran said, in about 2 years.
And
here we are. Actually doing it.
Knocking shit over.
Yeah, knocking shit over.
Yeah. Whitney's been a huge part of your life.
So, I have so many thoughts, so many things to say. The first of which is, there's like a maybe 17% chance that I might cry during the course of this episode.
Ooh.
Because I love Whitney Houston that much. Like, this music
So glad we watched that documentary.
If you cry, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a part of my upbringing. It feels like it's part of my soul at this point. Because it's like, Whitney was the first for me.
Okay.
You know, like the she is the woman who, for all intents and purposes, like, was my gateway into popular culture. And as a child, she was everything to me. And then I just carry that on with me. Like, some people get over the things that they loved when they were kids, but like, I loved Whitney Houston, and that's ageless. So I'm super excited to get to talk about her.
All right. Well, I'm excited that you're here. I'm excited that we're going to do this. There's only one problem, though. When it comes to ranking the albums of Whitney Houston, there is no clear path. Like, here's the thing. When you talk about ranking your albums, there are a couple definite, here's a straight-ahead albums. What are they? There's her 1985 debut, Whitney Houston. There was the expansion of that of sound in 1987's Whitney. There is the little bit more kind of, it's a different style. She mixes things up a little bit with 1990's I'm Your Baby Tonight. Then her next studio album that came out properly was 1998's My Love Is Your Love, when she completely changes up her sound. She followed that up a little bit later with 2002's Just Whitney. And then last but not least, her final album was 2009's I Look to You. Now that's 6 albums right there. That's pretty good. We've done artists with 6 albums before. But guys, there's some weird shit on here. First off, fuck that holiday album. She has a holiday album, and we don't do holiday albums. I'm sorry. We traditionally don't do covers records for the most part.
Well, yeah, but then we just couldn't do Whitney Houston. So.
Exactly. There's that. And also, there's the weirdness of her soundtracks as well. Now, she has, basically two. If you really want to argue for her 3 songs on Waiting to Exhale, you could, because those were all hits, but it's only 3 songs out of 16, so we're not even going to count that. But then we have the weird...
happy hour material.
Exactly. But then we have The Bodyguard. I'm not sure if you heard of this. There's a song from it. I don't know if you recognize it. It's called Queen of the Night. It's great. And the thing is, The Bodyguard was just so huge, but the soundtrack is weird, because it's basically the first 6 songs are Whitney Houston, all Whitney Houston, and then it's a whole bunch of other artists that aren't Whitney Houston.
Well, and the funniest thing about this soundtrack to me is that, it's 6 songs that were recorded specifically for this film, are used prominently scenes, showing her perform them, or, a music video in the background. Multiple of them actually move the plot forward, almost in a musical style, which I was pleasantly surprised by.
Yeah, we watched that this week.
But then everything on the second half is just incidental music.
Basically.
The Michelle Visage featuring It's Gonna Be a Lovely Day, which is just a shitty version of a Bill Withers song.
Hashtag All-Stars 3.
It literally it plays for such a short time and quietly in the background that they could have just used Bill Withers.
Yeah.
And it would not have made a difference.
They need to break all these new artists in, baby.
Yeah.
So the thing is that, it is such a key step in Whitney Houston's career. We have to cover it, but also at the same time, it's an album that has other artists on it. We can talk about just the Whitney portion of it, but, I feel like it's an album. We might have to consider at least some of the other parts of it.
I don't, honestly...
Where do you fall in on this, Nick?
So, because the first half of the album is so iconic, to me, listen, I own that shit on cassette. Don't you think I ever gave a fuck about that
side B?
Side B. Never, ever in my life.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like because it was so massive to me, the first 6 songs feel like they're their own separate album that can be considered as its own entity. However, I totally understand the argument for taking it as a whole.
Okay, but no, there's no one gives a shit about any of those songs.
Right.
We'll talk about them.
We'll talk about them, but I don't think we should include them in the ranking. We're talking about Whitney Houston. There's a very clear cutoff where the Whitney Houston album ends.
Yeah.
And
no other album has that advantage of being six and done kind of songs.
Yeah, but we've done artists where we've decided the EPs were important.
Yes,
before.
true.
And I think that if we count this as a 6-song EP,
ooh, changes the game, guys. I know you're betting on this. We'll see what happens. We'll get there. Long story short, The Bodyguard's included in our ranking, and because of that, de facto, we have to include The Preacher's Wife. That was a soundtrack that Whitney Houston sang all over. So it's gonna happen. So then, guys, let's do it. Let's jump in right there. 8 albums, 8 slots, worst to first. And that includes Whitney Houston, Whitney, I'm Your Baby Tonight, The Bodyguard, The Preacher's Wife, My Love Is Your Love, Just Whitney, and I Look to You. And funnily enough, when it comes to the number 8 slot, Nick Shoda, I look to you to ask you this question. Nick, what is the worst Whitney Houston album?
Well, it's funny that you looked to me for that, because I am looking to I Look to You to fill that slot.
Okay, walk us through.
And here's why. So I went through and I listened to all the albums in chronological order. Mm-hmm. And so this was the last one, and I listened to it today. And I just have to say, $1 Million Bill aside, which is incredible. One of, I would put it in some amongst her best. Uh-huh. The rest of it just makes me so sad. Because you hear the deterioration of the voice, which started primarily with My Love Is Your Love and got worse with Just Whitney, and really was just in the toilet with I Look to You.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I think is interesting about that in the context of the rest of her work is you start to see a lot of patterns with her albums, Mm-hmm. You've got the first 2 that follow a very similar formula.
Very similar.
you could argue that to an extent, I'm Your Baby Tonight takes elements of that formula and tries to freshen it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we skip over Bodyguard and Preacher's Wife, we get into My Love Is Your Love, which... Reboot, and also has its own sort of formula that Just Whitney kind of takes on its own.
Uh-huh.
And then...
So this is like, you're like, I like to use more like a photocopy of a photocopy, you think?
Kind of. I mean, I still think that she still brings, in her best moment, she still brings a freshness to what she does, even if it is kind of in line with what she's done before.
Mm-hmm.
I Look to You, there's just, even in contrast to Just Whitney, you sensed that she was going for something. She was going for that same sort of relevant sound that she really, I think, succeeded at obtaining with My Love Is Your Love, but just doesn't get there, and no one that was involved with that project really, with I Look to You, really succeeded in helping to make her relevant again. And what always succeeded with her before was the voice always carried through. Mm-hmm. Even in the roughest patches of Just Whitney, the voice was still mostly there. It was rough, but it was there. And you just don't... It's just gone, and I Look to You. And that it makes me very, very sad. So,
yeah,
that would be my pick.
that's totally fair. And I'm not going to fight too hard on this.
Oh, boy.
However, I actually enjoy a couple of the other songs than I Look to You.
Okay.
And part of it, I will admit, is because...
You love Akon so much.
Oh my god. I will fucking get there. Give me a minute. No, that's not one of the songs I like. But no, I like the production style of 2009. And so
For the Lovers.
For the Lovers is like, I would love to hear that at a gay club. Like,
a gay dance club.
I would be into that. Or like, I really like what she brings on Nothing But Love. Like,
yeah, I actually that was a song that kind of surprises me. Like, it's just kind of like, it's one of the things where, and Taran pointed it out rightly, it could be sung by anyone. The fact that Whitney happens to be singing it is almost like incidental at this point. But like, it's still like, it's a solid song. And like, throughout her career, like, people, I mean, especially because she is not a songwriter. Let's get that out of the way first. She really, really is. Her first songwriting credit actually appears on I Look to You. And I think it's like I Never Left or something like that. Or
I Never Left.
All right.
I do believe that she did have a handful of songwriting credits before I Look to You, I believe. I just don't know what they are.
Right, like that was at least the first one that I saw. But primarily, she's not the songwriter, but people are still making songs for her. And it's Whitney Houston. She will grab them, and she will own them. Even when it's a cover of another song, she will grab it, and she will own it.
Completely transform it.
Exactly. So, and the thing is that, like, I think ultimately when it comes to talking about our number 8 slot, again, I don't want to fight a lot, but for me, I think, especially in the context of everything she's ever done, Just Whitney I feel like is the least genuine album of her career. Because the thing is that, like, when you think about all her albums, like, even when you think about the bubbly pop of, her first 2 albums there, which are still, and, again, we're going to be referencing the Showtime documentary a lot because it has a lot of great elements in there. And they talk about how, essentially, Clive Davis was like, she needs to be accessible to a white audience. And so it's, like, very deliberate pop music. Like, it does have a little bit of soul standards and traditions. There's Jermaine Jackson. There's these duets that are on there. But, like, it's still very much accessible to kind of a 4-quadrant all-American audience. Like, that's what they're going for on there. With, and then she kind of, like, developed her own identity. She has a little bit, there's a little bit more that she gets in there. Even My Love Is Your Love, people are still writing songs for her. It feels modern to a degree. It feels like it's still her. It's like a reboot, by all means. But Just Whitney, she's like smarmy. She's like arrogant. She's like, haters back off. There's a song on there called Unashamed where she's like, I'm unashamed of everything I've done. And in 2004 especially, or 2002 especially, Whitney Houston is not having the greatest of times in her life. And Taran pointed out, rightly...
That song is, like, really hard to listen to.
It is.
I mean, I know hindsight is 20/20,
yeah.
But, like, the thing about it is that, like, she went to rehab multiple times, so clearly there was some shame there. And also, like, she had already, like, acknowledged at this point that there was a problem. So, like, it feels like, I don't know, a label exec making a poor call. Like, I just don't... I don't know. It feels kind of tone deaf
Right, and then you have the Bobby Brown feature, My Love, and then you have the Bobby Brown production on What You Looking At, which is a really, truly a generic haters back off kind of sentiment there.
That's the only redeeming song on
Really?
this album for me.
Really?
Wow.
I actually really like that song.
Really?
Wow,
Oh my
I find that
God.
surprising.
I am very surprised. Yeah.
But I say that because really nothing else on here sticks with me.
I kind of like One of Those Days.
Tell Me No, I don't hate.
Yeah.
But she's done that same formula more effectively earlier.
Dear John
Letter is just weird. I don't
care for Dear John Letter
I don't
either.
care for that. And I also don't hate My Love, even though Bobby Brown's a shithead.
We'll get into that a lot.
Like the chorus of that song is like it's catchy.
Yeah.
It's good. But
So, I guess I have a few thoughts about this, just in terms of the Just Whitney album and sort of her defiance, right? It's certainly the most defiant album that she's put out.
Yes, absolutely.
With moments on My Love Is Your Love aside. There was an interview that she did with Sister to Sister magazine with Bobby Brown in July of 2004 that I just found out about this week.
This research week.
Yeah. Which was fascinating because they did it while they were in the middle of filming Being Bobby Brown. And Whitney talks about being Bobby Brown.
happy hour material.
Yeah,
Happy hour
I'm
material.
sorry.
Happy hour
Yes,
material.
okay.
Talk about it.
And you hear them, or you see them talking about their marriage and sort of the struggles that they went through. This is when they were in a good place in their marriage, and they talk about going to rehab. Whitney talks about going through detox, and she says at one point, "Yeah, I'm what they call a functioning junkie." Which I thought was insane, because she didn't even say that in her Diane Sawyer interview.
That big famous Diane Sawyer interview.
And so, if we look at this in the context of her life at that time, and even in the context of the Diane Sawyer interview, to me it makes sense that she would have a song like Unashamed or like Tell Me No. These songs that are very much like, well, okay, so you're going to have all this rhetoric about me, about how I'm doing drugs and all these things. This is just going to be my defiant way of addressing that. That being said, I do think that era of her career is just really tragic in retrospect. I actually just watched the Diane Sawyer interview again today.
Oh, God.
And it's just,
God.
It's so hard.
It's really, really sad. And so that...
You feel like that cultural context elevates Just Whitney for you.
Yes, and thank you. That's a far more articulate way than I could have said it. Whereas if we talk about I Look to You, there was so much hype leading up to that album, and I just see it as in many ways a missed opportunity, because we don't really get a chance to understand what she actually did go through in any meaningful way. Not that we did necessarily throughout any of her albums. I mean, I would argue that some did more so than others. Obviously she's not a songwriter, generally speaking. But I think that there was an opportunity, if she had been paired up with people who were not necessarily like
Hit
Clive
makers.
Davis's hand-picked people, to really allow her to dig in a little more and say something a little bit more meaningful, especially considering that it was her last album.
We didn't know that at the time.
Well,
right,
right,
exactly.
yes, which is a totally valid point.
Yeah.
But looking back on it in retrospect, I am so interested in the times in her career when she actually let a little bit of herself shine through, even if it wasn't her words specifically.
Right. And go ahead.
I can appreciate that for sure. I also just want to say that throughout her entire career, the trends that she set were all vocal, and the production was always very much of the era.
Trend
There
following.
was never a new
You gotta hear this Whitney jam. It's
boundary
the future of
breaking.
music.
She was
No
not
one's saying
pulling
that.
a Madonna and getting
Yeah.
completely unknown people to produce her whole album.
Right.
And so for me, it's not really surprising when you get to 98, 2002, 2009 that it sounds exactly like that year sounds.
Right.
And so for me, I just feel like if we're talking about execution of pop music of that time, I feel like I Look to You is just like a slightly better batch of songs.
Well, for me, that's what it gets down to at the end of the day. Like, with just Whitney, she could be defiant, and the thing is, it's not my place to judge her. I mean, I can judge her, certainly. It's a shitty thing to do, but, like, she was going through a rough time. That she's speaking her truth as she sees it at the time, I get that, I believe that. It doesn't result in a batch of lasting songs. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
When I listen to I Look to You, despite the fact that it sounds like she's checked out of it, I mean, there are still moments that even though they're trend chasing, like, again, Nothing But Love, like, I kind of enjoy it still. And also, and again, if for any other reason I would put it above just Whitney, that fucking Alicia Keys production and written song, $1 Million Bill, it feels like classic Whitney. It feels like Disco Diva, because we go left, right, up, down. When she jumps in and she has the little, like, it goes left, right, you know, when she does, like, the little part in there, I'm like, oh my god, I just love it.
It's like the only time in the 2000s that she's like sounds like she's actually having fun.
Yeah, and like
Which
I
is,
dig that.
I mean, also if you like watch clips from her during that time, it just doesn't seem. I mean, she had some fun on being Bobby Brown, but like most of the time, like you watch her performing, and she looks like so drained.
Yeah.
So like having that moment of brevity is
right, and we're 27 minutes in right now.
Not the way I want
so
it.
you know,
oh my god, seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
All right,
shit.
let's stop debating these two.
Yeah.
I don't care which order they go in.
I will say, in one more thing in defense of Just Whitney, I also, like, both of these albums...
They're in the bottom two slots.
They're in the bottom two slots.
Yeah.
And I will say, I do love That Man. I think
that one's grown on me, for sure.
Yeah.
that song is a fucking jam. And, however, I'm comfortable with putting I Look to You above Just Whitney, $4 Million Bill alone, because it is that good, and it's like...
And there's nothing on Just Whitney that good.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
so
guys,
we can do that. I'm comfortable with that.
Okay, cool. I like
Let's
it. I
move
appreciate
on.
it. Yes, move the fuck on. All right. Number 8, Just Whitney. Number 7, I Look to You. The only other thing I wanted to say, there's covers on each of those albums. While You Light Up My Life on Just Whitney is some boring fucking pap. A Song for You, the Leon Russell number.
Oh my god, such a mistake.
I love that song so much. And her rendition, during the first part, it sounds like she checked out, and then it goes into fucking 2009 Dance Vamp, and that song did not need it. As someone who, like, has the Donny Hathaway version, like, locked in my heart, to hear her fuck over that is like, oh, honey, no.
And really quickly, so this another one of the reasons why I Look to You makes me sad is because Whitney did a cover of A Song for You on her Welcome Home Heroes, as part of her Welcome Home Heroes concerts, and it is incredible. She sings the shit out of it, and it's in like a higher key, and so to hear that in contrast with this like forced dance shit that didn't need to be a dance song, it just it makes me sad. Anyway.
All right, so number 8, Just Whitney. Number 7, I Look to You. Number 6, Taran.
I mean, it has to be The Preacher's Wife.
Yeah.
I get it. It's very good. She sounds incredible, but the songs that I like off of it the most are not the gospel songs.
We just broke Nick's
I
heart.
know.
It's okay, keep going.
That's
keep
the
going.
thing is, like, I don't really even love them that much. Like, Step by Step is
like
a totally
Step by Step.
decent song. And then what's
Written
the
by
other
Annie
one?
Lennox.
My Heart Is Calling. I'm like, it's pretty good. But the thing about when you have a 15-track gospel album,
that's the other thing too,
is that it all just starts to blur together. And even if, like, on individual tracks she gives an incredible performance, and don't get me wrong, she still sounds fucking amazing. But when you do an 8-note run on literally every sentence of every song on an entire gospel album, it's no longer impressive, and it's no longer interesting, unfortunately. And I will not allow this to be any higher than number 6. But Nick Shoda, please tell me what you think.
Wow, we just got the claws out right there.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'm just breathing. Okay.
It's just
So-
a podcast. It doesn't matter.
I know.
None of
It's
the
okay.
our rankings
It's all right.
suck. We know
No,
this.
no, no.
Every time.
Listen, here's the thing. I love all of this material, so in a way, ranking it is kind of like, I mean,
Sure.
it's all part of.
Yeah.
I
Right.
love it.
Yeah.
So I think that The Preacher's Wife, and maybe this is unfair in the context of this show, The Preacher's Wife soundtrack really is best experienced in the context of the movie.
Okay.
Because so many of those songs are obviously in the movie, and some of them she sings live. Some of them, it seems like, I don't know what the
contrast is between the studio and the live.
Well, yeah, because I know that she shot a lot of them live, but in the final product, it seems like some of them are lip synced, and that's never entirely made sense to me. So, any Whitney superfan out there who wants to tell me more about that, please do. Anyway,
Nick Shoda at gmail.com.
Not my email address. Anyway,
You can send
Hashtag
it,
All-Stars 3.
you can send it to Chartographers at
The Chartographers
Oh, yeah.
at gmail.com.
Jesus.
Well, good podcast.
It's been great. It's been so fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I have to say about this album is I think that this is Whitney in her element.
Yes.
She's talked for years about wanting to make a gospel album. You know, granted, I think that a song like I can do totally without You Were Loved. I can do without Somebody Bigger Than You and I.
Somebody bigger than you and I. Bobby Brown rap.
Yeah.
It's bigger than Shack Attack.
I would just like to point out that Somebody Bigger Than You and I is the Jesus Loves Me of the Preacher's Wife soundtrack.
Absolutely.
In the sense that, so in The Bodyguard, there's like a little moment where Whitney Houston and her sister sing Jesus Loves Me to each other for like 45 seconds, and then it's over, but then there's a whole song devoted to it on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And in The Preacher's Wife, Whitney Houston sings Somebody Bigger Than You and I a cappella to her son in the movie for like 30 seconds, and then they had to make this whole monstrosity with fucking Bobby Brown talking about like things that are big in the world for whatever reason. So anyway, so like if we can remove those two songs, which I don't particularly care for, I think that this gives us a little bit of everything that Whitney's good at, right? You've got I Believe in You and Me, sort of like one of her iconic ballads.
Uh-huh.
We've got Step by Step, which I think is a great pop song, great up-tempo, joyful
Really do. I
pop
fucking
song.
do.
And then you've got a whole host of her just in her element. Like that's what she does. That's
Uh-huh.
what the sensibility that she brings to that is part of everything. All of her other songs, it's just that it's in its purest form. And that's what I think is so beautiful about her performances on the album.
It is the best-selling gospel album of all time.
It is the best-selling gospel album of all time, which inexplicably was nominated for Best R&B Album at the Grammys, but...
Well,
the
she's black.
Grammys are just so confused about everything all the time.
They gave
so-
best hard
Right.
rock performance to fucking Aqualung by Jethro Tull. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's its own thing.
So I think that, in a way, the rest of her career, we have sort of pop Whitney, we have soul Whitney, we have ballad Whitney, and all of which are sort of like mix and mingle in their own ways. Whereas this
It's a one-off.
has all of those things, but also has fucking gospel Whitney, which is the best. Oh my god. There are so many live performances of her singing gospel songs on YouTube that just like
Thrill your soul.
because not only are they so beautifully sung, but that is her in her element. And I think it's so unfortunate in a way
That's
that we
going at
didn't
number 6.
get more gospel Whitney. That what? What'd you say? Are you being an asshole over there? What did you say? Say it again.
You're saying it's so unfortunate, and then I said that's going at number 6, but please continue.
Oh, you guys are so rude.
No,
I know,
you're so rude.
I like how at the top we're totally not gonna steamroll Nick Shoda. We're gonna like refer to him because
No.
he's the Whitney superfan, and then
Yeah.
we're like, no.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. I'm just curious, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
What would you put at number 6?
Oh shit, that's hard. That's
Yeah, bitch!
That's what we're
hard.
saying.
But you know what? Honestly, I would put I'm Your Baby Tonight at number 6.
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
I would. Sorry about it.
Oh, well, it was a great pie.
Please explain your reasoning.
Okay, listen.
Because critics actually fall in line with this logic, though, because, like, generally a lot of critics are just like, oh yeah, after the first 2 albums, I'm Your Baby Tonight, total downfall forward, total, misstep, or whatever. What does Shoda think?
So, to be clear, I love I'm Your Baby Tonight.
I don't think you do.
No, I do. Listen, I think I'm Your Baby Tonight is by and large a very solid album. It's a weird one in the context of the rest of her work. I think it's less consistent. When we talk about production, of course, some
It's
of her
dated.
production
It is
sounds dated.
very
A lot of her
dated.
production
Yeah.
sounds dated.
Yes, it does.
Stuff like that doesn't bother me. I think that ultimately, look, my reasoning when it comes down to it is I just like The Preacher's Wife more than I like I'm Your Baby Tonight. I wish I had a better way of articulating that. I'm looking at the song list right now. Because shit.
Because here's the thing.
yourself of what is on this record, and then tell me again
Because-
this is your number 6 pick.
But I think it's important to recognize that, like, I'm Your Baby Tonight was such a product of so much of the this is what it is. Okay. Oh, I figured it out. So by the time Preacher's Wife came around, she, by virtue of, being one of the biggest pop stars in the world, had more autonomy. And I think that's why she was able to do the movie and to make the music that she did with Preacher's Wife. And that's why I think her voice comes through so strong throughout the whole thing. Not that, God knows, not that it wasn't strong on any of the albums before then. But that it feels so lived in and feels so much like home for her. Whereas if we go back to I'm Your Baby Tonight, we're still looking at a similar formula as the first 2 albums, except after she got booed at the Soul Train Awards, they were like, oh, we need to find a way to make her more appealing to a black audience. And it feels, the calculation of that feels like it comes through in the work.
Do you think it was, obviously it was partially her team, but would you say it wasn't also her responding to the booing and thinking that asking for more of a quote-unquote black record, urban music of the time?
I think that it was a combination of factors. It's not to say that I don't think that Whitney had no say in any of this, to be clear. But there are parts of it that feel forced. I'm Your Baby Tonight is a jam. I love My Name Is Not Susan. There's so many songs on that album that I love. I could do without After We Make Love, but
Abso-fucking-lutely. After we make love. Why is that what your backing vocals sound like? What's happening here?
it's a weird, her performance on that song is very strange to me, and it always has been, and I listened to it again and I can't quite figure it out. I think it just sits in a weird place in her voice because there's a weird breathiness to it that just, I don't know. It's not like her other stuff at that time.
Right. Well, and I think part of that also is too, during this era, during most of her career, she's working with a different producer on every song. Mm-hmm. So you're going to get, when you have a producer who knows what they want, and especially if you're singing off of a demo vocal track, that's going to inform your performance. And so I think that's why you get random outlier vocal takes like that where you're like, interesting. Mm-hmm. But for example, the I Want to Dance with Somebody performance we just watched.
Yeah.
Her rendition of that when she's left to her own devices is really powerful. Mm-hmm. I don't want to use the word aggressive, but it's heading in that direction, taking on some of the Michael vocal stylings. But then obviously the studio recording is very girly,
bubbly.
Ooh, I want someone to dance with, And I think that's explains some of maybe the weirdness about this record. Also, Whitney is produced mostly by a single person.
Right.
Whereas then this one you go into literally every song is written by someone else and produced by someone else. Mm-hmm. But on that note, I'm Your Baby Tonight, just on a level of like start to finish listening, was a dark horse for me this week.
Interesting.
I was
Absolutely.
really surprised. I really like this record.
And I definitely did not go into it with expectations thinking it was
Like,
going to top the first two
Lover
in any
for
way.
Life, like, surprises me every time I listen to it. And when she's like, at the end of the chorus, she's like, and it's just like kills me. And like, there's so many moments like that on here where I almost feel like this is the first time in her discography where she got to show a little more of herself, you know?
Because in the document...
on those first two records, it's very... I mean, they talk about how this vision of a pop star is something that Clive Davis had for a while and wanted to put on Dionne Warwick and a couple other people who are already too established to, like, adopt this style. So he, like, molded Whitney to it. Which is, I mean... part of why those first two records are so good is because there was a very clear vision for what they were supposed to be. But then also, like, I'm Your Baby Tonight, it's suddenly this, like, breakout. And again, I feel like, production-wise, those first couple songs are very Michael indebted, which is part of why I like them so much. I would maybe even say I'm Your Baby Tonight's, like, my favorite Whitney song.
Oh, wow, okay.
Just
Yeah.
because it has that, like, you know? Yeah. I also really like We Didn't Know. Surprisingly.
Oh,
like, that
okay.
one snuck up on me. I'm a Stevie Wonder fan.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
I'd
Yeah.
be... The
Just
production
like,
almost
spoiler,
kills that one part.
we're doing Stevie Wonder later this season.
But here's the other thing, though. I feel like the one thing that was revealing about the Showtime documentary was it talks about how on the first two albums, especially, there was a sense that, again, when you're talking about trying to make Whitney for basically a white audience, or four-quadrant, multi-quadrant, whatever you want to call it, there were songs...
Whatever you want to call it.
Call it, don't worry, baby. Mae West.
Quadrant quality.
So, but the thing is that if there was a song that, as they described, as some of the musicians described, that was, quote, too black, it got sent back to the studio.
Right.
And so it feels like it's not just... And so I understand the booing at the Soul Train Awards, but more importantly, though, I feel like I'm Your Baby Tonight isn't as much a reaction to it as it is just... It feels like you get to see sides of her personality that you don't normally do.
It sort of just feels like they took the filter off.
Right, because
you know,
honestly,
there's still elements.
Who would have guessed that she would do a song like "My Name Is Not Susan," which is more of a defiant call-out song? You know, my name is not Susan.
That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
She's going full Michael there with the and they're like
Susan.
yeah, Susan.
Yeah,
right.
But there's that, and then there's also Anymore. It's just like
I love Anymore.
Similar to Michael Jackson, like I mean, they both do too many ballads, but B, we remember their upbeat songs quite a bit. Like their upbeat songs are always so prominent, and also like Michael Jackson's Paranoid songs, generally for the most part, tend to be some of the better ones of his discography. They're a little bit more, psycho crazy. I mean, they're a little bit more, you get into the head. There's a lot more, intellectual, but and emotional thought behind it. And on this album too, like she doesn't get like this angry again. Like just Whitney, she's smarmy. She's a little bit, talk backy. This one here is just like defiant. It's pushing. And then the fact that there's this little gem called "Who Do You Love" kind of tucked in there near the back, like this really buoyant like pop number on there. Like it's one of the things you got to keep in mind. We're talking about a lot of different Whitney albums that have a lot of different tones and textures. But yeah, it's one of those things where like, Nick, I love you. I really
Look,
do.
I already know that I'm gonna get outvoted here, but I just want to say, The Preacher's Wife is a really lovely holiday film that I think is underrated. I think Denzel Washington gives a really
surprisingly comic performance.
he doesn't get to do that very much.
Yeah.
And I think the music in it is excellent. I think the music in particular, especially
Joy, the Kirk Franklin number.
I believe all of the gospel songs were produced by Mervyn Warren. Thank you so much.
But the Joy was written by Kirk Franklin.
Was it? Oh,
yeah.
I don't know.
Wow, that was a lot of defiance for no reason.
Okay. Look, first of all, I'm pretty sure that Whitney and Mervyn Warren, whatever, it's fine. It's fine.
We have to forgive Nick Shoda because every time we get him on this podcast, we just fucking slap him in the face repeatedly.
Which, look, here's the thing.
We just shit all over his dreams. And so he's allowed to be a little defensive.
All right, Bodyguard, number 6,
call it. No, how dare you. I just think that knowing what we know about Whitney, how her how much she believed in God specifically.
Yes.
And the way that she invested her gospel sensibilities in all of the work that she does.
Mm-hmm.
I love The Preacher's Wife. Feels like it feels like her happy place, and that to me, like when I heard it as a kid and when I saw the movie, I just
it resonated.
It resonated, and it feels joyful in a completely different way. In a homey, sort of lived in, like, you feel it is a joyful record, and you hear that come through from her, and that's why I think
I totally get that.
And already, I think it's interesting because I feel like Taran and I, we have the biography and some of the emotional context behind these albums too, but it's like, I mean, we are viewing it as like collections of songs, like how good are the songs, and I feel like you're viewing it genuinely through what Whitney was going through, like much more of a biographical, like I think you connect to it in that way, because we know he had a gospel upbringing, and obviously, The Preacher's Wife was clearly a passion project, because I don't think most studios would have just funded that willy-nilly. The fact that she had clout, really led to a lot of that. But, I feel like you're much more sympathetic to a lot of those angles than we are necessarily, because we're just looking at it sometimes, as like what is truly the best collection of the songs or the best statements being made. So I find that that's just an interesting perspective. So I want to, even though, and listen, I'm sorry, just going to be an asshole. Preacher's Wife is going at number 6.
It's fine.
But it's one of the things where it's like I think that's just a fascinating perspective, and just in this discussion so far, I feel like that's come out of it, and that's just great. And so that's why I find it interesting too, because you view "I'm Your Baby Tonight" as almost a disingenuous pose from her, or
I don't want to. It doesn't necessarily feel disingenuous to me. It feels calculated.
You think "I'm Your Baby Tonight" is more calculated than "My Love Is Your Love" is?
Ooh.
Because that's straight up like, oh, it's 1998. Let's make a record that sounds like 1998 that people in this era will buy.
Well, I think that My Love. Look, I can't even talk.
We've all had that throughout tonight. Quality quals.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
We
All
have to
Stars 3,
acknowledge
hashtag.
that anyone who had Clive Davis as their Svengali and guiding their career is going to have their career guided by calculation, because that's what he
very true.
does.
Very true. Yeah.
So all of these are calculated in one way or another.
Didn't she drop Clive at some point, or is that?
No, what happened was Arista dropped Clive, and
that's right.
So
then he did J Records, Alicia Keys, all that
and
stuff.
so just Whitney was when Arista, I believe, was under L.A. Reid's
whatever his thing.
tenure.
Because L.A. Reid, for the record, he shows up a lot. He was also one of the drivers behind "I'm Your Baby Tonight" too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So I the difference to me between "I'm Your Baby Tonight" and "My Love Is Your Love" is that, well, again,
It's got Missy. Done.
Well-
Case closed.
it's still very calculated in certain ways, but I think that there is. "I'm Your Baby Tonight" feels a little bit more vacant than "My Love Is Your Love" to me. "My Love Is Your Love" feels very much like I shouldn't say every, the majority of the songs on "My Love Is Your Love" feel like they come from a more authentic place from her. You guys are shocked by
We
this.
are!
I'm sorry. Like, the use of the word, you're describing "I'm Your Baby Tonight" as more vacant.
Or less vacant.
No, more vacant. He said "I'm Your Baby Tonight" is more vacant.
Yeah, "I'm Your Baby Tonight" is
than
more
"My
vacant.
Love Is Your Love," which is blowing my fucking mind, because it has basically what's just a shitty Imagine rewrite, which is the title track. It's the same chords. There's nothing interesting happening in either the melody or her vocal take, let's be honest.
Like Claire.
And then you're looking at, like, "Oh Yes," which might be my nomination for worst Whitney Houston song.
Wow.
Like, I just, like, and don't get me wrong, I really enjoy some things on "My Love Is Your Love."
When You Believe.
No. No.
As someone who has the Prince of Egypt in your bones.
I have the Prince of Egypt in my bones, and that take of that song is an affront. It is horrible.
But it's-
I don't
but it's- but
care.
it's-
This is part of why I needed to put Preacher's Wife this low, is because when you look at what she's doing on "When You Believe," the melody of the song is gone. It is completely gone, and that's
from the movie version.
Part of why I think I like I'm Your Baby Tonight more than My Love Is Your Love is because she still is at least sticking to the melody for the most part through the first verse and chorus, and then she lets herself go crazy. Her divaness and the crazy, incredible vocal flexibility that she has sort of gets away from her during the 90s. And it's just like, it's really overdone. And that's even in some of the like live performances that I've watched where sections of it are blowing my mind. Other sections I'm like, can you just sing the fucking melody? And so that's a bit of my problem with this record. But then I also, oh god, and Heartbreak Hotel. Who's singing the chorus on that?
Hey, here's what we don't do. We do not come for Heartbreak Hotel. True story, I will always semi-resent Cher for Believe keeping Heartbreak Hotel from number 1. Because they were like, it was number 1 and number 2 for like weeks and weeks. And it never made it.
So
because of Cher.
So you don't believe in life after
Thanks,
love?
Cher.
Yeah. Oh my
Okay.
god. Oh god, can we break it up?
Okay,
Can we
okay.
stop the fight?
Alright, here's what I need to say.
I'm a couple drinks in and my filter is gone.
You're fine. Here's what I will say. Look, listen. I've been in this seat before. I know how it goes. I know I'm gonna get outvoted, and I know that you guys are gonna be wrong, and it's fine. I'm kidding.
Wouldn't it be incredible if sometime we had Nick Shoda on and we didn't gang up on him? We don't gang up on every guest. What is this?
He's adversarial, obviously.
Well, so the thing is, I mean, with the Janet podcast and with this one, like, you're talking about two of my favorites of all time, who are like, it's just a different context. Like,
right.
I've been listening to these people for literally
like
25
single
years.
digits. Yeah.
So, which is different than doing a deep dive for a shorter period of time. You know, it's
exactly.
You know,
yeah.
Because my feelings about all of this have evolved. You know, in fact, my favorite Whitney Houston song has changed. It could change like on a weekly basis.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite Whitney Houston song changed on an hourly basis this week.
Yeah.
Like, every time I'd be like, oh my god, maybe it's this one.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah. So, in what I will say about.
How much do you love My Love Is Your Love?
Well, okay. So I will say it had been a minute since I listened to the whole thing all the way through. And I just listened to it again, I think yesterday. And the whole time I was like, fuck. Yes, Whitney. Yes, the whole time. Because and again,
Because she learned from the best.
well,
Because she learned from you.
Jesus.
Not just from you. From you.
Also that fucking synth tone.
Also, can I just say that
Yeah.
not Whitney's career in general, but specifically My Love Is Your Love era Whitney is what spawned Christina Aguilera. Like, the late career throatiness that Whitney starts to get, that's that Christina is copying constantly. That's the other thing that was almost one of my biggest takeaways this week is so Christina just never did anything original in her life. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And see, here's the other thing about My Love Is Your Love. And by the way, guys, we are 55 minutes into the podcast.
Are we gonna have to make this a two-parter?
It might have to be a part 2. Because I don't think we're going to get
we
through...
haven't even talked about half of them.
Exactly. So I think we're going to have to do that. But let me just say one more bit. Let's at least log in number 5 before we go anywhere. But one thing about My Love Is Your Love, I honestly think I'm kind of in between you two. Okay. Because in terms of it, I genuinely don't think of it as a Whitney Houston album. I really, really don't. Because the thing is that Whitney Houston rebooted herself, and the thing is you can still be the person that pines for the classic days of she's a pop diva kind of thing. And I get that, and guess what? That Whitney's gone, that Whitney's not coming back, that Whitney's evolved away from that. Mm-hmm. At the same time, though, and I think it's also the fact that we're listening to this in the year 2018, and so 1998 is 20 years ago, it's very nostalgic for us, and when I hear Dark Child come in, those things come in, I don't necessarily... the thing is that a Whitney Houston song was always something that she owned. People could come in with songs and give them to her, but she always had a way of owning them. There has never been a cover of I Want to Dance with Somebody Who Loves Me that has been anywhere even remotely close to whatever Whitney could do.
Absolutely.
And she's had so many great... She could take, again, I Will Always Love You. Not the first time she's taken someone else's song and made it better and made it her own. That's just an ability that she has. So the thing is that for someone who owns her songs so much, this is an album that truly does feel like a product of the era. Like, I could see most of these songs going to Destiny's Child or of the era Faith Evans or other things like that.
Part of the issue is that, like, it's hard to say that because you also have to remember that the reason the 90s sounded like they did were because of Whitney Houston. Like, the reason that it sort of sounds like it doesn't matter as much that this record is Whitney, because I say that about her last 3 albums, that, I mean, and also part of that is the vocal decline, but even outside of that, it doesn't necessarily matter that Whitney is singing these songs specifically, because the production is so of the whatever era it's coming out in, and because she was already so incredibly influential, there are dozens of artists that are trying to do runs like this. Mm-hmm. And so when she's not blowing you away, which is on a bit of this album, it just kind of sounds like the late 90s.
Well, so here's my question.
All right.
With regard to I'm Your Baby Tonight, because we're talking about how My Love Is Your Love sounds very much like a product of that time.
Yeah.
And that some of those songs could have been a Destiny's Child song or whatever.
Yeah.
So if we're thinking about I'm Your Baby Tonight, I would say that a lot of those songs probably, because we're speaking as, you know, late 20-somethings, early 30-somethings.
Mm-hmm. I'm in my 20s.
You know, we have a very... That's some bullshit. You know, we're speaking as people who were very much alive and aware of the music of that time.
Yes, and everything that's come since then.
Right,
yeah.
and that can't be said of us from the time of I'm Your Baby Tonight. So... do you think it would make a difference if we had been? And does that matter in the context of this conversation?
Genuinely doesn't matter in the context of this conversation. Because I feel like we're talking about, like, the thing is that we can have the context of these albums inform what they do, but the thing is that, like, this was a revolutionary album for the time that in 2018, because maybe everything that's come after that, or even some things that came before, we could still be like, oh yeah, that album fucking sucks. Like, that's the thing. Like, there's a difference between appreciation and actually enjoying it, though. Mm-hmm. And I think when we look at some of the... and this has been true throughout the entire podcast, too. Like, there have been times where it's albums like, I will acknowledge, I can respect that album. That doesn't necessarily mean I like that album. Mm-hmm. And so then it comes to the debate of whether or not you're ranking something because you genuinely like it, or because it's revolutionary, or because there's some combination of the two and you think it's the best. So I think, you know, we kind of, like, fall in line there on that end. So that being said, I did kind of say that I feel like My Love Is Your Love is the product of the era. A lot of those songs can go to any people. I still enjoy it, though. That's the thing about this album, though. Like, because, like, it's not right. I mean, I feel like we've been shitting on it a little bit, like, in a negative, but, like, it's not right, but it's okay. Like, that was, you know, I will always tie that with Toni Braxton's You're Not Man Enough for Me. Like, it's always going to be, like, in my mind in terms of, like, great songs that have come out of there.
I fucking love If I Told You That.
If I Told You That.
I really like that song. And that's definitely my front runner from this album.
Uh-huh.
Also, that's the one that sounds like fucking the Jennifer Lopez song, right?
If you had my love and I gave it all to you, and you said that's fair. Yeah. But Jennifer Lopez is not in studio. I want to point that out. That was just an invitation.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like J-Lo ripped off a couple songs on this album. Yeah. But also, they're probably just chord structures and the...
And same producer, because Rodney Jerkins, I believe Rodney Jerkins produced that song, the J-Lo song.
I know Rodney Jerkins at least did It's Not Right, But It's Okay. That was definitely Rodney.
Oh, yeah. Well, and so was If I Told You That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, go ahead.
So, I just have to, again, like, being Whitney superfan and talking about the context of her life in terms of this. Mm-hmm. So, to me, what I think is really interesting about My Love Is Your Love in contrast to I'm Your Baby Tonight, because I think... Taran, did you say something about I'm Your Baby Tonight? I feel like Defiance was thrown out there. Or did I make that? Was that you? Yeah. Okay. So I feel like she is equally as defiant on My Love Is Your Love, if not more so in some ways.
Where?
Because... okay. How?
Wow!
Shit!
Fire breathing!
My God, Taran is coming for me! Are you kidding? Damn! No, you're fine.
I feel like I need to, like, take a breath.
No, it's okay.
We're really passionate about this.
I really didn't think I was gonna get this emotional about this.
Could you say that you're
So emotional. I'm so emotional.
That was such an Evan joke. Just then. Okay, so
It's just a Chartographers joke, baby.
yeah, sure. Okay, so I wouldn't say that the whole album. I would never make the argument that the whole album is Defiant. Okay. However, I think that It's Not Right But It's Okay is Defiant. I think that In My Business is Defiant. I think I Learned From the Best is Defiant.
Totally. Yeah, no, you're right.
And,
you're right.
And when you look at that, and even so, like a song like Heartbreak Hotel, when I listen to this album, I hear in some ways a response to the previous 8 years of her like rising to this massive success while also being shat on by everyone. Like I'm Your Baby Tonight, that album was trashed by the critics.
Yes.
She was
still went quadruple
largely I don't want to say trashed. She was definitely there. Like the response to The Bodyguard, like critically, was not great.
But that didn't matter.
Who cares?
Yeah,
it sold
right.
28 million copies in the United
True.
States.
But in the midst of all of this,
14.
Oh,
The album.
Did it sell 28 total? Was
20
that
million
global?
worldwide, yes. Because like if it was sold 20 million in the U.S., it would be the greatest best-selling album of all time. Michael Jackson sold 23 million in Thriller.
Could be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, okay, so
I wasn't making up. I was just confused. Sorry, Nick Shoda. Please continue.
It's okay. So thinking about the previous 8 years, all of the stuff that she dealt with in terms of her relationship with the press, her relationship with Bobby Brown, the scrutiny that they experienced, and her dealing with his infidelities and all of those things. I feel that so much of the material on My Love Is Your Love at its best. Granted, it is an uneven album. I will give you that, but it feels lived in. Like when she is singing "You Were Making a Fool of Me" on "It's Not Right But It's Okay," that was
from the heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
even with Heartbreak Hotel, I feel that, In My Business, obviously that comes from a place of that feels really authentic. So even though she didn't write these songs, I feel like she was able to connect up with people who were able to get her voice out in her music in a way that was not necessarily there before.
In your mind, because we all have, for the most part, I've amazingly, as the progress has gone on, I've done this less and less and less. But in your mind, I'm sure you have kind of a almost maybe definitive pseudo ranking of the albums in order, like
Yeah.
worst to best. Just don't name anything else.
Mm-hmm.
What number was My Love Is Your Love for you?
Oh shit.
First, second, third, fourth, fifth?
I think it was third or fourth.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. It was.
So
It's
still
not
in
my
this-
number one.
in this
It's
area.
definitely not my number one.
Here's the thing, like, I want to...
I mean,
Go ahead.
so for me, I'm Your Baby Tonight is at least third, if not higher.
I'd be willing to, if we put My Love Is Your Love at number 5, I'm going to put I'm Your Baby Tonight at number 4. I can't,
Okay.
discount that anymore.
Fine.
Like, yeah. Okay. All right. In that case, how about this? Let's go ahead. Let's plow through our bitter disagreements that we have. Guys, it's going to be a lovely day, okay? I'm telling you that right now.
I just want to say one more thing. I'm
Okay.
so sorry. I keep
Don't apologize. We've been assholes.
I have to say one more thing about in favor of
My Love Is
My
Your Love.
Love Is Your Love.
Please do.
Before, okay, because I think I touched on everything. I Was Made to Love Him is such a
I do like that song.
a Whitney Houston Lauryn Hill collaboration in 1998 blows my mind. My kingdom for like a time machine where I can go back and retroactively manufacture an album length Whitney Lauryn collaboration, like because not only is it a great cover, and Whitney Houston obviously is great at covers, but you get a little taste of the old and the new. You've got this great vocalist with a great producer coming together to make a really fresh sounding remake. And along those same lines, another thing that I am so sad we didn't get because of the way that her career was structured, the way that she was marketed, all of that, I would have loved for a Whitney Houston Lemonade. Like,
Oh.
so much. Like, if there had been someone guiding her career who had just as much of Clive Davis's marketing savvy, paired with a guidance of her career that would have led her towards songwriting and producing and being more in control of her artistry in the way that Beyonce has been able to over the course of her career, I think that we could have had something truly extraordinary. And because I think that she was capable of that. You know, people have historically wanted to dismiss her as a really great singer, but not much else. But I think that she has tremendous emotional dexterity and musicianship in that she imbues in all of her music. And I think that as far as later era Whitney, My Love Is Your Love is the closest we get to seeing a genuine sense of like her really channeling her heartbreak and the things that she had gone through in a way that feels very genuine, and we didn't necessarily see that before that. There we go.
So that being said, number 8, Just Whitney. Number 7, I Look to You. Number 6, The Preacher's Wife. Number 5, My Love Is Your Love. And number 4, I'm Your Baby Tonight, which the more I think about, I'm like, God, this is how Shoda feels all the time. And I'm okay with that. So guys, listen, we're almost 70 minutes into this thing. We're going to do a part 2 because there's a lot more coming up. So
and you know, it might be a short part.
It might be short. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. It'll be a bonus. It'll be an add-on. It'll be an extra.
We'll post it on like
an EP.
Sunday or something.
So guys, listen. Well, yeah, we got a full week. It's fine. But guys, listen. Before we do anything else, thank you so much for listening. Nick Shoda, I know there's more parts coming, but thank you already for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Because you're so great and wonderful. Obviously, listen to the part 2, because that's going to be coming up. Listen to the Happy Hour Minisode, and if you like any of those things, or if you just agree with Nick Shoda, please leave us a review on iTunes. Reviews are great. They increase our visibility. Other people can find the podcast that way. Also, find us on Facebook and Twitter and SoundCloud and all sorts of other places. So please go ahead and reach out to us, the Chartographers@gmail.com. If you want to send Nick a present, we'll pass it on to him.
Thank you so
He'd
much.
appreciate it. In the meantime, though, keep on listening, because you know there will be. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one.
Heat of the moment, I thought that I could myself.
Goodbye.
Nick Shoda, let's hug it out.